Welcome to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer. Happy Wednesday to you. As always, this is Faith and Family Day here on the Peak. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is a personal interest to me, which is holistic and biblical health. Actually, many years ago, I launched something. God, how long ago was that? It was over 15 years ago, I think. Something called Biblical Health Television. It was an early video website because my wife was trained as a chiropractor. Some of my best friends throughout the years have been chiropractors. And we started this wanting to bring natural health information to the church. And you would think, because, if you study this at all, it lines up, right? Like if you, you have the Bible, and it's the ultimate book to tell you about how to live. So, of course, it's a book on health. And yet, when we sought to bring that to the body of Christ in general, it was not something that was so accepted, because things like, when you use the word holistic and things like that, people get all weirded out. They think it's some kind of New Age, Eastern religion. But what we had to remind people is, where do you think Jesus was from? Like New York, or California, Germany. Like, he's from the East. He's from Asia. I lived in Israel for almost a decade, and it was years in. I turned to my wife. I said, "Do you realize we live in Asia, very, very West Asia, but we live in Asia. It's the East." And so all of these practices, these health practices around the world, they have a lot of truth in them. They've been studied out. They've been used for thousands and thousands of years, and yet we in the Western Church, really all of Western society, are so into the medical side of things, and which in the end becomes drugs and surgery tends to be how things are treated. If you talk to an MD about nutrition, most likely, unless he took other courses, he'll tell you that he never had any nutrition courses, or maybe one when he was in med school. So when we get into this discussion, we're just talking about how does the body work, and what are the best ways to get there. And interestingly enough, as we did this work on natural health, we found out things like the U.S. government under Obama, because this was many years ago, the Health and Human Services had done, a huge study, multi-million-dollar study, and found out that most disease could be prevented, like 80% could be prevented with diet and exercise. But then if you look at what the government incentivizes people to do, and the types of food, and how much money gets pumped into the medical establishment, it doesn't really align. And then you start to, wonder what's going on. And so we here on the Peak, we like to say the quiet stuff out loud. We like to give you information that you can use for yourself and your family and for our community. And we're going to be doing that a lot today because we have with us as our guest my chiropractor, my family chiropractor, Dr. John Davis. And we're talking about natural health and chiropractic and how to live holistically and biblically on this Faith and Family Wednesday. So, Dr. John Davis, welcome finally to the Peak News.
Finally is exactly right. We've been planning this for a long time.
Actually, here at Salem Media, I met John because I came to work here about 2.5 years ago, and his chiropractic office was in the building. He's since moved a little farther north up by Shields. Up in that area off of Federal and what is that? Is that Interquest?
Yes, sir.
Interquest and Federal up in that area behind Shields. But we became friends and started working together. And then he's a sponsor of the Peak. So thank you for that. Full disclosure, John's a sponsor of the Peak and our family chiropractor. And so today we're going to be getting into these topics of natural health, how your body is a gift, not a project. Talking about what are the big health issues in the area and how can we go about solving them naturally. But before we do, I want to tell you about a couple of things. One, I'm very, very excited because here at the Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and it's all about taking the media back locally. Well, there is, and we end every first segment with something called the American Minute with historian and author Bill Federer, and I hope you've been enjoying those segments. And I got to meet up with Bill about a week or two ago. He was back in Colorado Springs at an event. And I said to him, you know what, I'm doing this thing with the Peak. I updated him on the Peak. And I said, would you do a webinar with me about how we can take the media back nationally and share this vision of the Peak News? And he said, absolutely. So we are doing that on May 22nd. I want you to be on this webinar, 6 p.m. Mountain Time here. Go to thepeak.news/webinar, get all the information, join, and share it nationally, because we're going to take this vision for the Peak of citizen journalism to the world. You're listening to The Peak, and we'll be right back. And I didn't have time. I didn't punch my clock at the beginning, and so I was 30 seconds short. You call Jordan, please. Oh. Oh, that's right. Yep. And I had that at the top of the script, too. Israel Independence Day. So was that set up good? Was the setup good?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm glad Bill did Israel Independence Day today. He always does it according to the date. So. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that yet.
Huh? There you go. Didn't even.
Yeah.
You're first up.
Yeah. So where are we at on the list?
We're on page 2, and this is again because it turned out we have a report calling in that you can kick back for this one.
Okay.
This is something that often we do headlines with the guests, but as we're getting more into outside reports, which is our goal. But Jordan called me today and said he could give me an update. So. Okay, and I'm gonna. So, do you want to test it during the break?
Years, Express is part of our community.
If you want to do 4 and then see if you have like some audio coming.
Yeah, but I won't be able to tell. And that is going. Okay. So you want me to?
I'll turn off your mic.
Printing needs. For more info, go to expressco.com. That's the letter X.
So 4 works.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Zed. Okay, we're back in like a minute. Okay, here we go. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Peak News. Am I on? There we go. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer. And yes, we're live. And yes, we have an intern in the booth because that's how we do things around here, because we're training up a new generation of journalists, vocational training, ethics, how to report. We are citizen journalists, and we are going to be, you've heard me mention this, we're going to be teaching a broadcast journalism course in the D11 school system as part of their career training. And we're really, really excited about that, and getting in more interns, more young people to learn how to be real journalists, not activists, how to research, how to think critically, how to express themselves effectively and ethically. I mean, it's life skills that you need no matter what your profession is, and we certainly need it as a country. And as part of that, and getting that word out across the Pikes Peak region and really nationally, as I mentioned in the last segment, you heard, and I thank Bill. Well, you know what? Let me reset. First, in this headline segment, we're going to be bringing on in a minute Jordan Baldwin, our investigative reporter, in order to give us an update regarding this Mayor Yemi hate crime hoax story that's been going on since November. And we know we sort of went dormant on it mostly for a while because we've been waiting for the trials, literally the court trials of the different people to happen. And they're starting to happen now. And so Jordan's going to be joining us in a moment with information on that and what's going on. Because we've had people recently going, what's going on with that story? You covered it a lot. We haven't heard about it yet. There hasn't been a lot to tell. Things have been sealed. Information's been sealed. Obviously, people going to court don't necessarily want to talk on the radio yet, but we're getting you information as soon as we can. But as we're training up and speaking this vision, Bill Federer, who does the American Minute, and thanks to Bill for mentioning Israel Independence Day, May 14th, 1948, Israel became a nation. He mentioned that in the last segment. I was going to do that. Thankfully, Bill covered that. But Bill Federer and Bill is such an amazing historian. He knows everything. And I said to him, do you know about how the media got to where it is right now and is betraying us? He said, absolutely. He started talking all this stuff about the manipulation of information and culture. And I said, would you do a webinar with me? He said, absolutely. And so on May 22nd at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be doing a webinar, Bill Federer and I, called How We Take the Media Back, a Grassroots Plan for Restoring Trust in American Journalism. And would ask you to spread the word around the region to people around the country, because this vision of what we're doing here, what we're pioneering here in the Springs with citizen journalism and getting into the schools and incorporating people at the hyper-local level, really, when I talked to Bill, he said he agrees that this is most likely what the new model of media is going to be as the old one is burning down. And so this is our opportunity to speak it nationally and share it. And hopefully other people will pick up on this and we can have this going on all around the nation. Wouldn't that be great? So go to our website, thepeak.news, and go /webinar. Just go to thepeak.news. You'll see the webinar link and sign up. It's next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, the 22nd. Okay, let's bring in Jordan Baldwin. Jordan, are you there? Hey, Jordan, great to hear you. So just to bring people up to speed, if they don't know already, back in November, the Daily Wire, that national news source, put out a really egregious report about our Mayor Yemi Mobilati, that during his mayoral campaign, during the runoff, we knew that there had been somebody had taken one of his campaign signs, written the N-word on it in red spray paint, put a burning cross in front of it, videotaped it, and sent it to the press, and pretty much everybody figured it was a hoax. Even Mayor Yemi said something to that effect at the time, but it came out that it was. They arrested a group of people, but then what the Daily Wire said is that Mayor Yemi knew these people quite well and that he was coordinating with them, possibly before, definitely after, and that when the FBI came and interviewed him about it, he lied about his relationship with them. And the biggest part of that story that we ended up finding out is that mostly the news in town didn't cover it, but we did. And we did many, many shows on this, showing that he knew these people better than he had claimed, and other information. But as we try to tell the story as a small, independent, journalistic operation, citizen journalist, we're dependent on a lot of help from other people, and we've been waiting for the trials to happen. So Jordan, let's fill us in. There was this was all around with this guy, Derek Bernard, who supposedly was the ringleader of this, was actually already being tried and ended up in jail for life for supposedly hiring the hit of a local rapper. But then the guy he supposedly hired, tell us about that. Was he found guilty? Jordan? Yes. Well, let me Okay, Jordan, maybe you didn't hear the question because you're on the phone. I asked about actually the person who supposedly did the murder. He was actually found not guilty, right, a few weeks ago. Okay, and so talk about we have about a minute or so left. Talk about this pre-trial. This is now Derek Bernard, supposedly the ringleader, the one who supposedly hired someone to murder this rapper. But now we're getting into the actual hate crime hoax case. Yes. Oh, well, okay, we lost Jordan. we have to make sure we get him on a better line next time. So what we've been trying to report is, again, we've been waiting for the trials to start. Derek Bernard, one of the other defendants in the case, pled out months ago. Derek Bernard claims he doesn't claim his innocence in this. What he says is that because it was a hoax, it was just, and it wasn't against anybody. There was no hate involved because he was actually trying to help Mayor Yemi win, that it was his First Amendment right to burn a cross and to write the N-word on a sign. Very interesting defense, saying, yes, we did it, but it wasn't a hate crime hoax. There was no hate in it. It was actually just a political stunt. Will Mayor Yemi be called into court? We're still waiting to see that, and we'll have Jordan on hopefully with a better connection soon. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to The Peak. We'll come back with Dr. John Davis talking holistic health when we return. Okay. That was a little awkward. His line was not solid. He didn't hear my question. Okay. Guys got to get in a better cell signal next time. Okay,
So the monologues next.
now you're on. So we got 3 minutes here, break here, and so you can get ready for your segment.
Okay. Do I need to,
I'll introduce you.
but do I need to talk about my topic today? Is your body's a gift?
Well,
or
I'm going to introduce it.
Okay.
I'll introduce it, and then you can pick up from there.
Okay.
So again, I'll be giving you
Okay.
time cues. Look for that, and then pace yourself. See where you're at. You know, when you get the next cue and the next cue, you know where are you on all this. So, okay. Okay, here we go. You ready? Have fun with it. Just you're talking to one person at a time. Just you're talking to one person. That's who's listening. You know, one at a time. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and we say the quiet stuff out loud. So no, we're not here to lie to you. We're here to say straight stuff and help you out and get you good information. And thanks so much for being a listener of the show. We hope that you're a fan, and that would mean that you're letting other people know that we're on 3 to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday here on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer, and to tune into that wherever you happen to be, most likely in your car. Also to check us out on thepeak.news. We're pushing like 240 podcasts at this point, broadcasts. So go on our website, go to the podcast page, and you're sure to find things of interest because it's all about our local, lovely Pikes Peak region. Well, this is Faith and Family Wednesday. We have Dr. John Davis, Doctor of Chiropractic, and we're talking about natural health and chiropractic and how to live holistically and biblically on this Faith and Family Wednesday. And now Dr. John is talking about your body is a gift, not a project. Dr. John Davis.
Thanks so much, Chaim. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20, do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. You know, in a world obsessed with appearance and performance, we've been conditioned to view our bodies like projects, something to fix, something to push harder, to make smaller, or hide. It's crazy. The fitness world tells us to punish it. The medical world tells us sometimes wait until it breaks. And culturally, especially as men, we're often expected to just deal with it, to push through, suck it up, and to never talk about it. But as a father, as a healthcare provider, and a man of faith, I've come to see our bodies differently. Your body is not a project. It's a gift, a temple, a tool for your calling. And how we care for it matters deeply, not just for ourselves, but for the people God has placed in our lives. I believe taking care of your health is an actual act of worship and responsibility, not out of vanity, not because we're trying to be perfect, but because the Lord gave us this body and we're called to steward it for our families, our purpose, and people we're meant to serve. When I care for my health, Chaim, when I eat with intention, when I move my body, when I rest, when I seek wisdom and how I fuel and protect it, I'm not just doing it for me. I'm doing it so I can show up for my wife. I'm doing it so I can be fully present with my kids, not just in the short term, but for the long haul. I'm doing it because I believe that God entrusted me with this life. The least I can do is take care of the vessel he gave me to live in. This world is so fast-paced. We're so overscheduled. It's constantly pulling us away from what matters. We tend to eat on the go. We're under-rested, overstimulated, and out of alignment, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And if you don't stop and pay attention, the costs will show up later in your health and our families and the quality of life that we leave behind. But it doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes honoring your body means making one better choice today than you did yesterday. What about drinking water instead of soda, choosing real food over processed food, going on a walk with your child instead of scrolling your phone? What about getting enough sleep so you're not running on fumes? What about, and here's one for you, saying yes to help when you need it, whether that's from your doctor, a coach, a counselor, your spouse. As men, and especially as fathers, we have the privilege and responsibility to model this for our families. Our sons are watching how we handle our stress. Our daughters are learning how men treat their bodies. And even every little small act of stewardship plants the seed that can grow into our legacy. This isn't about being the fittest or the strongest. It's about being faithful. Faithful to your life God gave you, faithful to your family, faithful to your future. Because this body, it's temporary, but the way we use it has internal impact.
You've been listening to Dr. John Davis of WoW Chiropractic, our family chiropractor, and so happy to have him on the program. When we come back here on The Peak, we're going to be talking about the biggest health issues that families deal with in Colorado and our Pikes Peak region and how we can address them naturally and holistically. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we'll be right back. Cool. Thank you.
Did it go okay?
Yeah, it was okay. You timed it out? You did it right? Yeah. I was dealing with something else while I was here, but I was listening.
Hopefully it didn't sound like I was just
reading. No, I mean, it's that level of reading that's fine. It is. Nobody really speaks that way, so people can tell, but that's fine. It's an op-ed piece. It's just the interview that's next that's not. So this is just a minute and a half. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. And on this Faith and Family Wednesday, we're talking natural health, biblical health with Dr. John Davis, chiropractor from WoW Chiropractic, WoW Family Chiropractic, and WoW Nutrition. And we're talking natural health, chiropractic, how to live holistically and biblically. Want to give a shout out to one of our gold sponsors, Pickle Prosthodontics. It's a word that I had to learn how to say, Pickle Prosthodontics. Dr. Todd Pickle, your board certified dental implant specialist in Southern Colorado. Go to pickledental.com for more information, and of course listening to their spots here. Thank you to Pickle Prosthodontics being one of our sponsors here, and thanks to all of our sponsors, including WoW Chiropractic. You help get us down the road. You provide this service to our region that's so necessary as we say the quiet stuff out loud. And so, John, thanks so much for being a sponsor of the Peak.
Honored.
I've appreciated your chiropractic for years, ever since I came to work here at Salem, and you were upstairs in the building. Not anymore, though. Moved a little bit, make it a little harder. I used to get, I could get to my chiropractic appointment in 1 minute. I missed that. But so what brought you to Colorado, and why do you have such a passion for natural health, John?
Well, that was all my wife. We got engaged. We were living in Kansas City at the time. I was going through chiropractic college there, and she did an internship up in Denver. And when I popped the big question to her, will you marry me? She said yes, under one condition, and that's that we move to Colorado. So it was an easy thing to do. And hey, I've never regretted that one day.
How long ago was that?
Oh, man, 23 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what about the natural health side? How did you end up in this profession, being a chiropractor and nutritionist?
Yeah, so I never knew really what chiropractic was when I was growing up. Played college football at a Division II school. I hurt myself, started seeking care, more holistic care. I actually thought that they were called chiropractors. I didn't even know enough for that. But man, it opened my eyes when I knew even back then that we were in a crisis. We were taking so many medications. When you look at that, just in America alone, out of all the countries, close to 200 countries, America takes, the United States of America takes 60% of the world's medications. But we're like ranked number 30 in terms of health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you became a doctor of chiropractic, and then you set up, what's the origin of this WoW Chiropractic? Where'd you get that?
So to keep this short, John 3:16, there was a commercial that Focus on the Family did. And my youngest daughter at the time was not supposed to be in the commercial, but they tagged her saying, wow, at the very end. And it was played on the playoffs when Tim Tebow was the quarterback for the Broncos. And so it's been an inside joke to our family over the years. Anytime something cool happens, we kind of look at each other and say, wow. And that was the inspiration to develop WoW Family Chiropractic.
Okay. So overall, people are dealing with a lot of health issues. We're really chronic. So many people in our nation are on, at least one pharmaceutical drug, if not more, dealing with this. Didn't used to be that way. It's pretty recent. Now we have this MAHA movement with R.F. Kennedy Jr., pushing this, saying, you know what, we brought a lot of this on ourselves. So what are the major health issues that people are dealing with in our region specifically?
In our region specifically, obesity and diabetes, I think are the strongest. When you look at the El Paso County numbers, 28% of our local population are considered obese. And that basically breaks down into 3 out of every 10 females and 4 out of every 10 males. And obesity is creating so many health concerns currently.
And so from your standpoint, from a natural health standpoint, where do you see this coming from? Like, why do we have such a crisis?
Well, we're living extremely fast-paced, high-stress lives. We're often relying on ultra-processed nutrient poor foods. And I really think, I mean, you can't even go, it used to be safe to say if we shop on the outside of the grocery store, inside, but on the outside walls, that you were doing.
So the
you know,
produce section,
yeah,
the bakery,
and
the things that are around the inside.
yeah, it's pretty much all just trash now. I mean, nothing has great nutrients, and it's just trash.
So, most people learn, and it's it's a disease theory, that we catch disease. But in natural health, we talk more about, giving the body what it needs, not having the toxins in there, and that really, so disease is something that we allow to develop rather than catch. Can you explain that as a natural health practitioner?
Well, yes, I mean, but I believe we need to basically focus in on three things, and that's education, accountability, and even spiritual alignment. We need to simplify wellness, so people can make better daily decisions without feeling overwhelmed. We also need to change the narrative. For example, when we view our health from a stewardship, not vanity or punishment, it shifts everything. Taking care of our bodies becomes an act of gratitude and obedience, not just something we should do, but something we're called to do.
So like get into each of those things then, as far as, let's dive a little bit deeper into things that people can do practically.
I mean, the main thing is just to educate them, selves. When we look at the way that traditional medicine works right now, it's a little antiquated in the fact that doctors pretty much still view the body as individual parts. And if a part breaks down, then we give a medication to stimulate or to oppose whatever the problem is. And the problem with that model is that, as we all know, our body is comprised of many parts that work together. And, if you take a substance in, whether it's a medication or a piece of broccoli, it doesn't just go to one organ, one gland, one duct. Your whole body has to process that.
Yeah, I think about it, when people that have different plants and you garden and try to give different nutrition to each plant, depending on it, but under the ground, right? The whole root system is there. And so when you're seeing a patient coming in, and very often in chiropractic, people come in because of an injury, right? Because of a car accident or something, or they get a certain number of treatments. But I know, because my wife was also trained as a chiropractor, didn't practice for too many years, but trained that way, that overall, teaching people about holistic health and how they can balance it. How do you go about shifting people into this different mindset, maybe out of the I'm just here to get out of pain to something that becomes lifelong?
Well, it's really cool, Chaim, because everyone knows what to do and how to do it. They just don't have it in the exact folder in their brain. And so we traditionally just start asking questions. And as patients answer those, they're kind of building that holistic folder. But this is one of the main reasons why we created WoW Nutrition. The WoW in WoW Nutrition stands for Weapons of Wellness. As a chiropractor with over 20 years of experience, I've helped thousands of people manage pain, but now we're stepping a little bit deeper into nutrition coaching and weight loss because I want to help people prevent those issues before they even start.
So when people, and this is new, you just told me about this today.
Yes, sir.
So, for more information, I want to ask you about WoW Chiropractic. There's a website, WoW, W-O-W, familychiropractic.com, and now WoWnutrition.com. When people, what's really in the DNA of WoW? People do, I go to a chiropractor or whatever, but there's something I found very different about your chiropractic office. What would you explain as sort of the unique, DNA or ethos of WoW?
Caring, 100%. People will be blessed when they come into our office. The love that we showed our patients, the concern, we bring them into our family and we become family with them. And I truly feel like almost anybody can just walk into our office without even being touched and feel they're leaving better and blessed.
And it really is. It's a friendly place. I tend to see people over there. The doctors take time to talk to you, not just to treat you. And so it's been great having you as our family chiropractor. Getting into the nutrition side, why did you shift over, and what do you hope to accomplish with your patients now, adding this nutrition side?
So I'm not really shifting over. It's just a service that we're trying to offer to help. And it's primarily because of obesity. My family and I just got back from a vacation. We went to Disney World, and we were able to go on a cruise ship, and it was mind-boggling how many people were walking around with walkers and in wheelchairs, and not just overweight but obese. So we have a couple of things that we're going to do, but primarily the focus is to make it easy. We once again live in such a fast-paced world, when we have so many different things going on. Our goal was to build programs that could take all the guesswork out, and to make it easy for anybody to follow.
Well, you're listening to the Peak on Faith and Family Wednesday. We have as our guest and co-host for the hour, Dr. John Davis of WoW Chiropractic. And when we come back, John is going to be talking about something that anybody who knows in the office, they know this about John's family, is they love rodeo, not just going to it in the culture, but being a contestant in the rodeo. And we're always finding out how they did and how the children did. And so learning a little bit more about John today when we come back. What he does in his spare time with his family, the rodeo. You're listening to The Peak. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we'll be right back. Okay. Think about what you want to say in this segment. So you're a little, I don't know if you want to.
No, these are things I can talk about. So. Of course, do you always feel like you bombed it and then it works out?
No, I mean, sometimes, I say the rehearsal for today's show was yesterday's show.
Yeah.
I mean, every show is different stuff. We have some that's like we have technical issues or whatever, Jordan dropping off the line or,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, people don't know what we tried to do,
Right.
right? They only know what we did. So,
Yeah.
so, overall the shows are good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, cool. It's 2:30 exactly. He's talking about people need to get outside.
Okay, great. Beautiful. Get outside. Okay. Okay, so on this, when I give you the final, we got to finish because I got to throw. Okay, we're back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Happy to have you here on Faith and Family Wednesday. Our guest for the hour has been and is Dr. John Davis of WoW Chiropractic. And but we're going to step away from natural health, but into activity. And John, if you're ever around the office, John's talking about the rodeo they just came from, the one that they're going to. I think he's away almost every weekend, sometimes out of state. But tell us about that. How did you get interested in rodeo and participating in it and bring your family into it?
Well, let me start by saying that I'm just a glorified farmhand, and I transport our family to these things. This is once again kind of my wife's doing, but it is so fun. It is so neat. My kids are involved with the National Little Britches Rodeo Association. We get to travel all over the Midwest. And they get to compete in rodeo. They do events like barrel racing, pole bending, breakaway. They even tie goats, Chaim, and it's just extremely fun. It's great fellowship. We get to spend a lot of quality time together, and we truly love it.
Okay, so you don't do it. You're not
No,
doing any.
no.
Are you at least
I'm
riding?
actually afraid.
Do you ride?
Yeah, I don't. I'm actually afraid of them. It's so weird, and I still get a little panicky every time our girls are in the gate about ready to take off full speed around barrels. My heart just pounds. But I don't really care for horses, even though we have 8.
See, now look at this. See, I assume this. I learned about. You're always talking about your child. I just thought you were bragging on your children, but I'm realizing no. I've never talked to you about any trophies that you've won or anything.
No, heck no.
Yeah, is your wife doing it though?
She loves it, and she does ride, but no, she does not rodeo. She grew up on a ranch and did a lot of trail rides and has a huge passion, a deep love for rodeo, and especially with horses. But she does not compete.
And you're not a rodeo clown or anything
No,
like that?
but I could be. I think I could be better than most.
But you are now. You tend to you set up a tent. You're adjusting a lot of the time at these
Yes,
things
sir.
to
Yes,
help
sir.
pay for the gas and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Getting out
Oh,
of
yeah.
the hotels and
Oh,
getting
yeah.
out there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
what would you say to people who are thinking about, especially people who are transplant? I mean, it's such a Colorado thing to do.
Yeah.
How do you get into it? Give us a little background on.
There's local events right here in El Paso County that kids can get into. One of our things that we did and what I would recommend is they're called gymkhanas. But a lot of local arenas offer gymkhanas every week, and it allows kids to get out, ride, to learn the patterns, and to see if they're something that they want to pursue deeper.
And what kind of costs are there involved with entering the competitions?
Yeah, generally, if you have your own horses and everything, each event's anywhere from $10 to $20 that you enter your child in.
Okay, and then all the driving going
All
around.
the driving, all the feed, all the vet bills, all
Yeah,
I can go on and
now,
on.
how is it owning horses? Is that I've heard it's very expensive to own horses. How is that?
It is very expensive, but I'll tell you what, the peace that our horses bring our family and the joy looking into my kids' eyes and the values that they're learning, the teamwork, just there's not a price that could replace that.
And so tell us about what are some of the biggest competitions that they've done well in or won.
Yeah,
brought
so
home trophies?
they not to brag, but they kind of
Right. Hey,
do
you're
well.
a dad, brag.
They kind of do well everywhere we go. One of the big things that we shoot for every year is the National Little Britches Rodeo Finals that's held in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and riders from all over the nation come in and compete, and it's a huge stage, and it's an honor. We've been able to go 4 years now. This coming July will be the 4th year that our kids have qualified for that event.
Okay. Dr. John Davis, thanks so much for being on the Peak.
Love it. Thank you.
And go to their website, wowfamilychiropractic.com and now wownutrition.com. And I know they have something called the Health Pass. We did it when we first came. Exam, images, and a treatment at their expense. So take advantage of that. Now we have Jim Miller, Just a Guy, and the Peak Rants. And today, Jim is saying, get outside.
I'm Jim Miller. I'm a Marine. I'm overworked. I'm overtaxed. I'm kind of tired and a bit grumpy right now. I'm Just a Guy, and this is the Peak Rants. Okay, I get having a house and stuff, but these people that just never go outside, just inside, windows and doors closed and everything, not even fresh air in it, just sitting in there. You know, not everybody's got AC either. It's just sitting in there. I don't know what this is. Are these like the modern cave people or something? You got a 1 in 400 trillion chance to even exist in the first place, and you spend all your time being inside. It's just weird to me. It's very strange. I mean, go outside, go make a friend, get something going on. No wonder so many people are depressed, down. Ugh, woe is me. I just watched a bunch of YouTube stuff that was depressants, and I stayed inside in the dark and didn't go out and get a bit of fresh air, be around other people or in the real world. All I did was watch interwebs, Netflixies, Hulus, all this crap, and didn't go out and experience any real life thing. You know what, guys? Get outside, go do some stuff. Talk to some other people, yell at somebody, get in a fight. I don't know. Go punch a pedophile or something. Go do something proactive. Get outside, get in the sun, get your vitamin D, talk to somebody, try to be around someone you like or something. Don't be inside being all cooped up and depressed. It's like a weird vacuum, centrical, feeding, self-loathing, weirdness, cave people of the modern era type thing. All right? Turn the TV off. Maybe turn the radio on, put some headphones on, go outside and enjoy the world. All right? Get outside. It's just weird and kind of no wonder there's so many problems. Right? Oh, I got to stay inside the real world. You're not out experiencing the real world, so it's not that bad. Just go out on your porch and sit in the sunlight at least. At the very least, throw a burger on the grill. Get outside, people. It's starting to be warm, pretty weather, all right? We're coming around to it. Remember, if you want it better, be better. I'm Jim Miller. I'm just a guy, and this is the Peak Rants on AM 1416 FM 101.1, The Answer. Get out in the sun. We'll be right back.
Integrity, honesty, and pride in a job well done.
Cool. That's Jim. So I just have a 2-minute close, and then I'm done.
Okay.
There's 3 minutes of commercials. Cool, man. We were a little nervous.
Yeah.
But everybody has to go through it the first time, so hopefully
Right.
be good. I'd love to do, talk about regular segments and things like that. Do something, can be pre-recorded. So
No,
do it live,
absolutely. Yeah.
get into podcasting. I mean, especially if you're starting something new,
Right.
recommend.
I
pushing content
wish
out.
I hadn't. I just wish I'd have came and talked about chiropractic and wow.
Okay.
I think I would have been a lot more.
Okay. Well,
Laid
that was,
back.
I mean, that was your
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But why'd you choose?
I don't know.
Okay.
I felt that this has been something I've been working on for 4
Oh,
years,
okay.
and I felt really led
Okay.
by the Holy Spirit to
Then there you go.
talk about what impacts
Right.
El Paso County. That was
Right.
kind of my mission, was what are our concerns here?
Okay.
What could I bring?
Okay.
So,
So this is what it is.
all right.
It was good. I mean, no one will like themselves on the radio,
Right.
but overall it was a good program.
All right.
But just relax more,
Yeah.
and just be yourself. You didn't need
Definitely,
to-
I started relaxing. As
Okay,
I
good.
went on, so
Cool.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Oops, I gotta quickly. I forgot I didn't write down what Thursday's show is about. Is Mattson?
so am I able to walk out now, or do you need me to?
You can walk out an hour. You can wait till we're done. I mean, if you
No.
you have to run back. Or,
No.
I mean, we
didn't know
can
if you
we
were.
can talk a little bit. Okay, Matt. Oh shoot. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Peak. We really want you to get involved. And maybe you don't understand, one, how big the problem is, and two, that we can really solve it here on the local level, and that can happen actually across the country. And so we want to invite you to a webinar that I am co-hosting with a great man. You hear him in the American Minute piece that we do near the beginning of the show. His name is Bill Federer. He's a nationally known historian and author. He knows the history of everything. And we're going to be doing a webinar on May 22nd, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, called How We Take the Media Back, a Grassroots Plan for Restoring Trust in American Journalism. And so Bill is going to be giving the history of how the media has fallen so far and really betrayed us. And I'm going to be presenting this vision of the peak and inviting people all over the country to help us here as we establish it here, as well as export it from here to their hometown. I can see versions of the peak all over the country with citizen journalists saying the quiet stuff out loud, reporting on their local community, and just not taking this, the media not serving us anymore. So go to our website, thepeak.news, thepeak.news, go to the link for the webinar and join us on May 22nd, and please spread the word. Well, tomorrow is Media Day, and we have Matt West is going to be co-hosting. He's our producer here. He does a car show here on the station. Tomorrow is going to be a mixed bag of media. He has a whole bunch of different guests that he knows from the media community, and he's going to be commenting also on the local media. So tune into that. Matt's a very entertaining young man in his 20s, very accomplished, and you're going to be learning a lot and be entertained by Matt. And then, of course, on Friday, we have Dirk Hobbs and the Southern Colorado Business Update. Now, stay tuned here on The Answer for the Larry Elder Show coming up next. And check out our 240 or so podcasts on thepeak.news. And overall, please spread the word for such a time as this. Thanks so much. Shalom.